Today, I finally managed to finish Ghost of Yotei after weeks and weeks. It's really funny because I thought I would be able to just smash through it and just be done with it before Battlefield 6 dropped. I was actually playing through it quite a bit, but the thing is, I was getting distracted left and right. You know, if you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. The game is amazing. The game is very good at, making you distract, so like this is just the beginning of the game, so no spoilers for you here. um but if you're like, let's say you're just running through this bit and then that's like your home, that's where you're going to, but literally on your way from here to like right over there, you would find like two things or two three things that'll distract you. I finished the game finally, and it's so funny because it's just the starting section, and you just jump down from this little cliff, and then you just go down, and it's like the edge of the map right until the end of the game. I didn't realize if you just immediately turn right as you jump down, and then go just that way, you find a collectible there, which I didn't realize until the end of the game, because this is like your home, this is where you go. And until like you never really come back down, like come back up this way, because it's just the starting section. You just gallop towards your house, and that's where the story begins pretty much. So you don't really explore this section necessarily, because there's nothing there, so I thought. So as I've said, it's literally so much going on in this game, and you think there's nothing there, but there's literally something to find in every nook and cranny in this map. In this game, it's so good, it's so good. And it's not always just a collectible waiting for you there in a box either. It's actually sometimes like a little interaction with a person or interaction with an animal. I'm not talking about just like foxes and golden birds or whatever, but like sometimes it's not just like straight up like open a box and you find a collectible. That sometimes like mix it up a little bit with like some sort of interactions, or some platforming or stuff like that. So it's not straight up like, oh, go to this location and find a box and open it up, and then you get your mask or your hat or your weapon kit or whatever. It's not always like that, so it's nice that they mix it up a bit. I haven't platinum the game. There are like 4 trophies that I haven't done. I stopped playing because like I've been playing it a lot. I might actually go back and try to platinum it, because those are like pretty easy trophies. I'm pretty much like almost done with all of them. I just have to like do like 1 or 2 things to like complete that progress of those trophies. So yeah. Anyway, game is pretty long. I think I sunk in at this point about close to 80 hours into the game. All 99% complete, 99% completion of the game, including like finding all the collectibles and doing all the side quests and everything. So pretty much done everything at this point. So yeah, I can safely say takes you about 80 hours if you're a completionist like myself, and if you do like to take your time with it to like not rush through everything. So yeah, that was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun game. Definitely had a lot of fun with it. Again, like I said before, the story is actually quite amazing. It's actually pretty good. Once you finish the story, you realize how good the story actually was. However, it wasn't as impactful as Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima was just another level, but that's not to say this was a bad story. It was actually really, really good, and it has some hard hitting moments. It had moments where you felt emotional, and all the characters did a pretty fantastic job making you feel connected to them, and like you really do grow to care about the main cast of this game in this story, like main characters in this story, not the cast. um and yeah, like it was a pretty fun time, pretty fun time. And yeah, had a lot of fun with it. I'm glad that I took my time with it, to be honest. Like if you it's the kind of story that like if you rush through everything, you probably not gonna enjoy it as much as you probably would have if you took your time with it. It's that kind of story. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was also that kind of story, so it kind of makes sense. Like it's a very emotional story. It does take your time to tell. It's not rushed. Everything. I mean, it does have a sense of urgency to it towards the end of it, where you go against the main villain, Lord Saito, which is not spoiler. It's a well known fact from the beginning of the game. Um, yeah, so Lord Saito, your main villain guy. When once you start hunting him down, the final hunt, it does take a sort of a dramatic turn into, like, giving you like a sense of urgency to go after him. It actually does lock you out of the rest of the world, once you start that mission, because it's the final mission. But it's also kind of structured in a way. Even though it is the final mission, it is a pretty long one too, and it's broken into a few sections. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's really really cool. And it also did a fantastic job. Once you finish the whole game, all the credits roll out and everything, it takes you back to a moment with Atsu and another character that I won't tell you about because of spoilers. um and they have this conversation between them, like almost like Atsu's telling a story about the events of what happened here. And then that way they manage to sort of tie that narratively back into Atsu being back in the open world, hunting and doing your side quest if you are. So because once you finish the main campaign, it kind of gives like has like the hunt is over for Atsu. Her revenge quest is done. So narratively, there's no reason for her to come back to Eso and do the other things that you do in the side quest if you haven't finished them already by the time the main campaign ends. So they did a fantastic job like connecting that properly at after the main quest ends, before they put you back into the world as Atsu, um, before the main, like the last mission takes place. I thought that was fantastic. They didn't have to do that. They could have just like rolled out the credits and just put you back in and said, "Oh, this is you're back in the world before the last mission finished, so you can finish up the other stuff." Like that's what Assassin's Creed Shadows did. They just like put you back in the world and say, "Oh yeah, before you defeated the main villain, you're back in the world now, so you can do the other stuff." But you didn't. Ghost of Yotei went on a step extra to explain why, in what context that you're back in the world. So like after the main quest is done, the context changes. You're pretty much living through the lenses of being a story being told about the events that happen. So that's in that way you're playing a character where Atsu in the background, Atsu's now telling this story to somebody, and you're playing through it as she tells. So it's really cool. That there's a cool transition too. So I thought that was really cool. It's very minor thing. It doesn't really do much in terms of gameplay or anything, but the way they connected that I thought was really cool, and I thought that it needed a shout out. So anyway, if you have finished the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me know if you thought that was cool too, because I really do think that it was a cool touch. Um, but yeah, very cool game. Enjoyed every minute of it, even though it, it's easy to like, say, okay, this is as not as good as Ghost of Tsushima, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it's a really unfair comparison to make as well, because Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei, while in the same franchise, in the same concept, because they're both ghosts, the stories that are being told are very different, and they're not even connected together. They're literally not connected together because they happen hundreds of years apart. there is a cool nod to Jin Sakai in the game. It's actually like a quest that you can do. It's a quest line, not a quest line. It's just one main quest. Sorry, one side quest that you do to explore what happened to Jin Sakai after the events of Ghost of Tsushima and how he lived out his like last days and blah blah blah. Like you get a really cool note about exploring that information in the game, and you do get like some cool loot at the end of it too. So that's a cool touch. But other than that, there's literally no connection. Absolutely none. So I think it's very unfair to draw comparisons between the two, just other than gameplay wise, in terms of story, very unfair to draw comparisons with the story itself because they're very different, and the way they've been told are very different as well. You got these flashback mechanics where you go back to her childhood all the time as well. Although I do have a gripe with that whole mechanic because you when you start the game, when you start the game, um you have this mechanic where, like as you're seeing right now, she switched to her childhood while she's in the homestead, like her homestead, and this is now like a turn into a flashback where she's going through this little, you know, little mission, where she's playing with her brother and all that. But you can press the touch button on the controller to like immediately switch back to the present day where Atsuo's old. And that's a mechanic that you can do within the homestead area, like in the garden and this whole area. You can do that, and there are some certain locations outside of it in the map where you can switch and like experience like flashbacks, memories of your childhood. But I only encountered like one or two in the out in the world, and I didn't really come across that. And all of that were like sort of happened towards the beginning of the game, but then I came across none of that afterwards. I don't know if I missed them, or if I'm supposed to, like, I don't know if I missed them or if they do exist more and somehow I haven't seen them. I don't know. Like, let me know if you've seen them. But I can literally count like in one hand how many of those I came across, and definitely less than four. I think it's about three, if not if not less. Um, and that's it. And then after that, I completely forgot that this mechanic even existed because it wasn't really a used mechanic out in the open world. You do come back, you do keep coming back to the home area, especially to like the this is father's forge, and you come back to this to upgrade your swords and stuff. And each time you come, there are like things around the home that you can go up to and then experience like a small little snippet of a memory by switching back to the childhood Atsu. And that only, again, that only happens to like the first half of the game, and then there's nothing more. Like it really, there's no more stuff to do in the homestead after that. There's no memories to discover. I thought there would be like they would keep them coming, but there was nothing like that. So I feel like that whole switch mechanics between like past and present was really cool, but it was heavily underutilized. They could have done some more cool stuff with it, but they just haven't done a lot of it. I would have liked to see more of that happen and use more frequently. But yeah, it's not a complaint or like a deal break or anything. It's just something in the game that was like really cool, just hasn't been used enough. So I thought I'll just point that out. Yeah, other than that, game was amazing. I had a lot of fun with it. I finished the whole game. I will go back and I got like two hidden trophies that I haven't get, and then two more trophies that are with the progress. Like you get to do like 12 paintings. I haven't done, I've done 11 and I've got one more to do. And then the trophy you get for finishing all the wolf dens, I haven't gotten that one because I had to get, I think I've missed one wolf den, so I had to find that and then I'll be good. So it's very easy trophy. So if you do all those four, you get your platinum. Pretty easy platinum, so I might go and do that. But yeah, man, awesome game. I could play more. This is the exact same feeling I had when I finished Ghost of Tsushima. When I finished that, I wanted to play more of it. I wish there was more story that I could play through because it was so good. This game, even though different from the first game, still very enjoyable, still a hard hitting emotional story. Once I finished the story, I still wanted to play more, which is a good sign that I enjoyed the game. So, yeah. Um, people like to make fun of it because, with certain casting choices and how the character model looks and all that, Ghost of Woke or whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it was a fun story. I did really like Atsu. Atsu is way more animated than Jin Sakai was. Jin Sakai, I grew to love him. I did grow to love him because he was kind of a character, cold, little bit reserved, not a little bit, like a lot reserved, quiet person. He's got a lot of walls up. So does Atsu at the beginning, but then you can see her character evolves and like be more open as the game progresses and become more open towards the concept of having a family and all that, even though she's a lone wolf. So it's all there's definitely character development in here too, in a way that's different to Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, man, it's great. It's great. I really did like Atsu. I thought she was way more um like more open and more humorous than Jin Sakai as well. Jin Sakai wasn't a funny guy. He was a serious dude. Whereas Atsu, she's a little bit more funny and she can be lighthearted. But sometimes she can be a little bit of an ass too. But look, it's just a balance. So yeah, that's my impressions, not well, final impressions on the game after having finished it. This is not like a review or anything, but I just thought it was fun. If you haven't played this just because you think, the character model doesn't look, attractive or whatever, I think you're missing out on a good story and a good game and a pretty good time. 80 hours of good time if you're a completionist. If you're just playing through the main campaign, that's still probably about 25 something hours, I would say. I don't really know because I played it all together, so not sure. But yeah, I think 100% give it a shot if you haven't played it. If you've got a PS5, play the damn thing because um, it's a good game. It's a good game. Put aside your, uh, I don't know, political stuff and try to enjoy the game for what it is. It is a work of art. It is a good story, and I think you'll have a good time. But yeah, or not, like I say all the time, I'm not your dad, so I can't tell you what to do. But yeah, if you did like Ghost of Tsushima, I think you're gonna 100% like this game. So go and play, go and play. All right. Anyway, that's my take on Ghost of Yotei. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below because yeah, I would like to know your thoughts. I did have a lot of people comment on my previous Ghost of Yotei videos. I did some first impressions and people were some of the people were like not happy with how the game representation has, you know especially Atsu's character model people have issues with and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not against any of those opinions, of course not. I'm a gamer. I love playing games, and there are games that I don't play as well, and there are games that I do play. Ghost of Tsushima is something that I thoroughly enjoyed. So Ghost of Yotei naturally was something that I ended up enjoying just the same. Um, in a gameplay wise, if not more, like I played a whole lot. So yeah, I think if this is not the type of game that you play, don't play. It's fine. Like I said, no one's forcing you to do anything. But yeah, if you're not playing it because of, you don't like how it looks compared to, Ghost of Tsushima, and you have an issue with all that and you're just avoiding it because of it, I think you're missing out on a good game. So I think you should give it a shot. And watching the credits roll out, it made me realize like how much these people have fun creating this masterpiece, because like you can really tell sometimes, like when you play a game, or not even just a game, like when you watch a TV show, when you watch a movie, you can sometimes tell how much the crew has enjoyed working on it. You can tell it comes through. And to me, those kind of things really did came through to me. Like it's really hard for me to put it in words, but it's just, you look at something you enjoyed and you know that, okay, the crew actually had a good time creating this and making it, working on it. And it's really apparent when you see the credits roll out. I won't tell you why. I think if you do play the game, you will experience it for yourself, and you can tell that they had fun with it. They 100% enjoyed working on the game, and they love the game itself, and it's apparent. And that's why this end up being such a good game too. Because when a whole bunch of people work on something like this, and they actually enjoy working on it and working together, something amazing comes out of it. So um this is no different. Ghost of Yotei did the same thing, and I'm here for it. So yeah, man, let me know in the comments your thoughts and your gripes with it, what you love about it. Let me know in the comments below.